Hey buddies, I'm Mr. Pugly and today we'll be discussing the top 5 tanks that you can use to rank up in Overwatch. Now Roadhog is one of those characters that he's an extremely simple character, but once you have true mastery over him, you can essentially decimate the entire team. Because of that, he is considered one of the top meta picks in the current meta, especially considering the fact that in Overwatch 2, there isn't a lot of shields or ways to prevent him to actually get a good hook on the enemy team. If you are good enough with Roadhog and get key targets such as supports and DPS, you can easily shut down the enemy team, allowing you to secure easy kills, easy objective captures, and overall easy wins. He bolsters one of the highest HP pools, which is 700, and he has an awesome tool that allows him to heal pretty much half of his HP on demand, which allows him to be very versatile and allow your supports to get a little bit of breathing room, which is always good. In the current meta, supports are in a bad spot where they can easily get killed, so sometimes they do need that breathing room to protect themselves as opposed to healing others. And if you use your ultimate correctly, you can easily secure a team kill, get environmental kills, or just kill targets without any problem, as well as if there's a point and you're trying to capture it, you can push all the enemies off of it, allowing you to capture the point, which can be so drastic that sometimes it allows you to win the game right then and there. Once again, Roadhog is one of those very straightforward characters. There's not a ton that you can really talk about besides perhaps his hook combo, which everyone kind of knows already, where you hook a target, bring him all the way towards you, shoot once, and then melee immediately, and then you can get a confirmed kill on a 200 HP target very easily 99% of the time, unless there's some jankiness happening. So let's move on to our next hero, which is going to be Erisa. Erisa is one of those characters where she was reworked recently, and everything that was given to her allows her to play really well in the Overwatch 2 meta, and I feel like we're going to see her in a lot of matchups unless she gets a severe nerf, because a lot of her kit really works to her advantage, with her Fortify essentially reducing all the damage that you can receive by half, the Javelin, which allows you to interrupt players if needed as well as push them back, which is awesome. We already know how valuable pushbacks are by talking about Roadhog's ultimate, as well as having Javelin Spin, which can be used to allow yourself to move towards the objective quicker, like some respawn, but the main important thing is that it allows you to push targets very easily, and sometimes you can push a target into a corner where they can't really do anything about it and you just stand there and your team just targets the player and they're dead instantly. Because sometimes if you use Javelin Spin correctly, it's a confirmed kill. It's crazy. And we're not even talking about environmental kills, which can happen with both Javelin Toss and Javelin Spin. Her primary weapon also does a ton of damage if you can aim correctly, allowing you to deal significant damage to the enemy team almost consistently. The only problem is that overheat mechanic, but it's only a 2-second reload, and in the past her reload is really long anyways, so 2 seconds isn't really much to cry about, because otherwise you have essentially infinite ammo, which is awesome, allowing you to easily apply pressure to the enemy team. And we talked about in the past how constant pressure can allow your team to easily win fights in our previous videos with our top 5 DPS videos, so if you're interested in that video, click on the top right. But Erisa also has an amazing ultimate. It's very easy to get confirmed kills with the ultimate even if you're not fully charging it, and during those few seconds that the enemy team is slowed, your snipers, even hit scans, can get easy confirmed kills or even lower the HP of the target to a significant amount, where when you do release the ultimate, you're going to get a couple of kills no matter what, which is awesome about her. And if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we move on to our next hero, which is Winston. Now Winston does not get as much respect as he needs. I feel like Winston's always been a pretty good spot in the Overwatch meta, but for some reason casual players don't like to pick up Winston, maybe because he's a little bit hard because of the way that you have to do a dance between your bubbles to make sure you survive properly, which can be kind of tricky. But overall, I feel like Winston is kind of an easy character, where essentially the main thing you're going to be doing is going into the fray, disrupting the enemy team, but still being smart about it with your barrier. As I said before, you want to dance in between, in and out of the barrier, so you can easily mitigate the damage that you would normally take in a team fight, and as well confirming kills in the back line with supports that can't really escape at all, which is awesome about Winston. He also has a long-range Tesla cannon, which has some niche uses, allowing you to deal damage from afar if needed, but most of the time you kind of want to jump into the air, go into the back line of the enemy team, disrupt their movement, kind of really mess with the enemy's heads. His leap comes back super quickly. If you were to leap directly in the air, it goes on an immediate cooldown, so by the time that you land on the enemy team, you probably are going to get your leap in the next 3 seconds, which allows you to disengage the enemies if things go south. He's one of the few tanks that still has a barrier, which is extremely valuable in Overwatch, and because of that, you can allow your team to get a ton of protection, a lot more than you would honestly think from a little round bubble. You can use it in a ton of versatile ways. You can use it to block a Diva ultimate, you can use it to block damage from the front, block damage from the back. You can even put it on your payload for a niche moving barrier tech which honestly I don't use that much, but whenever there's a payload, I like to kind of do that if we're all doing a team fight around the payload, which you're kind of supposed to do on a payload map. But nevertheless, his ultimate is also excellent because his ultimate instantly fully heals him, also increasing his max HP to 1000, as well as allowing you to leap constantly, and instead of using your Tesla cannon, you're now going to be throwing people across the map, which can be so disorientating that your team can get easy confirmed kills on the target that you're harassing. You could throw them towards your team, or you can even push away enemy targets that are being very disruptive for your healers or DPS, so you can go after key targets that way, get easy confirmed kills if you focus on one person, as well as pushing people off of objectives, which we talked about with Roadhog and I guess the rest of the two. You might be noticing a theme here, allowing you to get easy objective wins and thus allowing you to confirm wins very easily. It's not uncommon with Winston where you get to a very low HP and then you pop your ultimate because you were planning on getting to low HP, and thus doing that to allow the enemy team to waste resources on you, waste their burst on you, as well as providing a huge advantage to the team fight whenever you're in your ultimate. Speaking of a character that provides a huge amount of advantage, we go over to Sigma. Now Sigma kind of has everything right in a tank, but that doesn't mean he's top meta. He is still a versatile tank that can kind of be used in almost every single meta, and thus can kind of be used in almost any matchup. His ultimate is arguably one of the best tank ultimates in the entire game because you can easily get confirmed kills, as well as reducing the HP of every enemy that's caught in it by half, which, as mentioned before, gets confirmed kills. But if an enemy has say a Roadhog, getting rid of 350 HP in just one button press is kind of spectacular. You can easily target 200 HP targets as well when they're in this ultimate, because bringing them up into the ultimate, I believe, does 50 damage, and all you really need to do is primary fire them once before they hit the ground, and then you get a confirmed kill that way. He also has an amazing CC with his rock ability, which allows you to interrupt targets as well as get easy confirmed kills, because if you throw a rock and then do a primary fire, if the enemy has 200 HP, it's going to be a confirmed kill if you have 100% accuracy on that combo, which is crazy. He also has a barrier. As we mentioned before, barriers are very valuable in the game, as well as having the ability to suck up projectiles with his kinetic grasp ability, which also gives him shields depending on the amount of damage that he actually absorbs, which can allow you to get so much HP where once again, your supports can get some breathing room, allowing them to heal other targets, or even allow you to 1v1 targets very easily as Sigma. Because this ability does absorb any projectile, you can essentially absorb some ultimates as well, which can be very devastating. Imagine Zarya is building up a ultimate, a Graviton Surge, for the entire game, and you just suck it up, making her entire ultimate charge and game plan that could have allowed them to win the game essentially null, which is amazing for Sigma. Another character that's actually able to do that is going to be Diva, which is our next character. Diva is a very good tank. She's always been a very versatile tank. She easily dives into the enemy team, and in the current dive meta, that's really valuable, or any dive meta, but because of the fact that she also has a second chance mode where she's in her little gremlin state, aka pilot mode, you can easily play around that to almost never die as Diva, unless someone's countering you with, say, maybe like a Reinhardt and does a pre-hammer hit before you actually launch out of the mech, but that's neither here or there. Diva has an amazing amount of mobility as well, allowing her to disengage and engage targets when things go south or you need to get a confirmed kill. And she also has a nice little amount of AoE with her rockets, which if you hit targets with, can deal a ton of damage. She also sports infinite ammo with her primary fire, which means that if you are in a 1v1 with maybe a DPS, you're kind of going to be able to kill them no matter what, unless they are counter to you, as long as you use maybe defense matrix smart, depending on the matchup, but that's neither here or there. He also has an amazing ultimate that allows you to get easy team kills. I feel like Diva's ultimate is one of those ultimates where on a casual sense you die very easily, but when you go to the pro level, you notice that Diva's ult is more or less kind of used as an area denial. When the Diva ult is placed, it's kind of like, okay, you can't really go there now, so I'm going to get the objective whether or not you like it or not, which has all the other characters, as we mentioned, allows you to get secure wins, which is extremely valuable. And you can even launch it towards the enemy team. If they have no way to actually escape from it, you're going to get at least a couple of kills, which is always fun. It's a very common tactic with Diva players to go onto the point, deal as much damage as possible. Then once you start going out of mech, you pop your ultimate, and then everyone has to scatter so you can kind of shoot them down, and once it explodes you can go back into your mech, essentially giving you 2 HP bars, which is extremely huge because she has a huge amount of armor HP, which mitigates a lot of damage and can easily allow you to win the objective right then and there. If it doesn't allow you to win the objective, the enemy team is, once again, as I said before, scattered now. They might have popped some important CCs to survive, might have popped some ultimates to survive, so it's really up to you to take the opportunity and secure the win right there as Diva as well as your team. Because if you're playing with a Diva and you see them do that, you kind of want to act upon it, but you know, this is a tank video. We could talk about that maybe on another video. Finally, I want to give a big shout out to the members who make these videos possible. We got Clairvoyance, Rick and Glacius, and Cameron. These are the people who support me as little as $5 a month on Patreon and YouTube. And you can also support me by clicking the link on the top right or in the comments description. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him up with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. War in a cave with a torch on a wall, then a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.